What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 20 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today I have for you guys the Champions League second qualifying phase against FC Copenhagen. It's going to be a double header. Of course, last episode we won in the first leg against Havnar Boltfilag, the Faroese team, the Faroe Island champions, I guess you could say. We beat them 5-1 on aggregate. Today, slightly different calibre of opposition. It's going to be a tricky game for us. In terms of our team for today's game, we are going to make a few changes here. I've also got a few injuries to contend with, but one thing that is certainly worth noting is just how match fit our players are. If you watched last episode, you'll know that it was a bit of a struggle. It turns out that that fourth game of the pre-season, that second leg, was kind of the game that our team and our players needed to get themselves up to 100% condition, and for a lot of our players, get them pretty darn well match sharp. That was terrible English. That didn't even make sense. That was grammatically incorrect, and I'm sorry. I do that far too often. Anyway, this is the team for today's game. It's going to be relatively unchanged since the last game. There are a few changes here and there. For example, we are going to be giving Peter Morgan, our new right back, his debut in the side right back. Elsewhere, though, we're going to stick with Guerrero and Ballester in the centre-back positions, Gilbert out on the left, Felix in goal, of course, Griffo, Sargent, Hernandez and Drummy in the midfield, Peachman and Connolly up front. I'm pretty happy with this team. It could be slightly stronger, perhaps, but given some of the issues we've got with match fitness, with Reyes being injured, it's a pretty nice team to be able to fall back on, and I'm hoping that we can at least do ourselves some justice in today's game. I'm going to make a few changes just because, of course, today, we are playing against a slightly different calibre of opposition to what we're used to. So we're going to play a little bit more conservative. We're going to try and play, a little bit deeper. We're going to try and be a little bit less adventurous and just kind of try and do what we can here. We're going to stick, though, with a similar system to our normal shape. It's still going to be the 4-4-2, just a few minor changes you saw there. We'll get straight into this. It's not going to be an easy game. If we could, maybe get a draw in one of the two games, that would be a pretty darn fantastic achievement, because this FC Copenhagen team are absolutely bloody terrifying. They have some absolutely incredible players. If we just have a look at their team real quick, they've got Dembele, who's absolutely incredible. If we just kind of flick through, they've got players like Fisher, who's better than our best player. In fact, they've got a few Fishers here, a few regens as well. But yeah, they've got some good players. Andre Hansen here looks like a fantastic Norwegian goalkeeper. Just scrolling through some of these, they've got very good players. They're a better team than us in a lot of departments. Moussa Dembele, really the player to perhaps be most scared of. But yeah, I'm not going into this game with massive expectations really, but we'll see what we can do. They've got a few virtual players that we might be able to capitalise on. But all in all, not going to be an easy game here against FC Copenhagen, and really, I don't have expectations going into this game. Last time we played in this stage of this competition last season was against Red Bull Lights. No, it wasn't against Red Bull Leipzig. It was against Red Bull Salzburg. And for some reason, I decided to tell the players I expect them to win. So now I'm just trying to confuse them, because that seems worse than making them angry. I've completely butchered the team talk. The nerves on the day, I just didn't know what to say. I couldn't control my words. And now we have a long throw to deal with immediately. Drummy going to clear it, but to have a replay after 40 seconds, that's slightly concerning. It's concerning. Oliveira, Felix with the double save. In between the sticks, the goalkeeper coming big for us already, the young 16-year-old. And what I was going to say was, when we played Red Bull Salzburg before, we lost 10-0 on aggregate. I just want to do better than that. I just don't want to lose by 10. I mean, it's not a lot to ask for, I don't think, although given the start that FC Copenhagen have had, maybe it is, because they've just had a lot of shots. But 10 minutes in, we've still got a clean sheet. Make it 15. Keep going up, clock. Keep going up. But looking at the stats, Copenhagen, they're kind of dominating the game. You'd kind of expect that. We are going to be sitting a little bit deeper, as you saw by some of the tactical changes we've made. But we'll just see what we can do here. They are on the attack. They're whipping the ball, and Cornelius is actually going to get there. I'm actually going to make a tactical change here, which might seem to some people absolutely mental. And I'm actually going to just go with our standard 4-4-2. The reason I'm going to do this is because I've actually seen the shape that they were playing. They're playing a 4 at the back, then 2 centre defensive mids, then 2 centre mids, then 2 strikers. And that kind of seems like we're wasting a few of our players, letting our wider midfielders only play on support and our full-backs on defend. So I'm going to go to our normal system. This is something I did in the second leg, you guys may remember, against Red Bull Salzburg, and it actually served us surprisingly well. Instead of kind of defending, we went on the attack, and we're going on the attack here. Connolly with a chance. And that was a clear-cut opportunity our way to make it 1-1. Unfortunately for us, Connolly could not take the chance. But that's a good early sign since the tactical change. Looking at possession, we're actually slightly edging it. Unfortunately, possession isn't what wins you matches. Goals are what win you matches. And at the moment, we are a goal down. Although Felix, another nice save there from the corner for the youngster. And this is going to be his biggest game he's played. And for a lot of our players, it's going to be their biggest game. Perhaps the game against Salzburg was a little bit bigger. I feel like we maybe have a slightly better chance in this game than that other game. But realistically, I go into this game with little to no expectations. And we need to defend it. Cornelius heads it away. And he probably should have done better there. But Felix is going to collect the ball. We'll see what we can do here, but you can see what I was talking about with that narrow shape they're playing. I feel like our wide players probably have a little bit of room to exploit, and that's what we're going to try and do here because they're only playing with the fullbacks. And having our wingers on the overlap, hopefully we can overload them out wide, although we do need to retain a defensive shape as Cornelius brings it forward, headed away, but only as far as Ankerson, who passes it into Kusk, and it's another save. And you'd have to say our keeper is keeping us in it right now. We are on key highlights. We're not even on extended. There's another chance. Corner whipped in. And is that another save? It is. Wow. We are being bailed out right now. And it's another save. I don't even know what to say. Felix having an absolutely superb game. A 9.0 rating for the 16-year-old. That is insane. I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. Felix, my man. You are doing insane in goal. He's improved a little bit of late. And he's done great there. Let's just encourage the players here. We are only 1-0 down in this game. If we can keep it to 1-0, you never know. A smash and grab might be on the cards in the second leg. The away goal against us is going to hurt just a little bit. But since we've made our tactical change, I mean, granted Felix has kept us in this game, but we're not out of it. And we have had that chance that we didn't take. So there is hope for us perhaps to get another chance in this game to get a goal. As we did have the ball for a second there from the goal kick, but it is back with them. And that is given away by Sergeant Yorkson, bringing the ball forward, and he smashed that in. That is an insane finish, unfortunately for us. Our keeper could not get to that one. FC Copenhagen, you'd have to say it's been coming in the first half. We somehow managed to hold on. Dembele with a big through ball, a lovely ball by him there. And then I guess it's Jorgensen. I'm sorry if it's not. It might be Jorgensen. I guess it's Jorgensen because there's an N in the middle, Jack. Learn to read. Either way, it's a nice finish. He's absolutely rifled that in. And now we look at this and I go, I just don't want it to be 10 on aggregate, if I'm honest. It's 2-0 here. They've got the ball. They're bringing it forward. Felix with another saving goal. Can we clear it again? We can't. Cornelius flicks it in. A towering presence. The young striker, who I do believe played for Cardiff for a little bit. I don't think he really made a splash in England after his move. He went back to Copenhagen, which I think is where his career started. And he's headed the ball in there and he's scored a nice goal for them, it's fair to say. They've been a very, very good team in this game, Copenhagen, unfortunately for us. I feel like perhaps going more conservative was the way to go, although it's all in hindsight now, isn't it? We had that clear-cut chance at 1-0 down on attack. We might have a chance here, though. Connolly, use your pace. He can't beat the keeper, unfortunately, but he will beat the defender there. Now can we break? We can't. If we get a goal, that's as good as a win, really. But we do need to keep our defensive head on, and we need to defend here. Fischer whips in. Guerrero clears it, but only as far as Holek. Back out wide to Fischer. Whips it in, back post, and it is a goal. Jorgensen scores, makes it 4-0. And I don't want to say 10-0 on aggregates on the cards, but I'm a little bit worried right now because that ball seems destined for the back of our net in the second half. So far, 15 minutes gone, and they've scored a lot of goals, and I think it's fair to say Felix's 9.0 average rating. Well, I was about to say his 9.0 average rating isn't going to be that high anymore. It's actually gone up to a 9.1. Now it's back to a 9. But when your keeper has an average, like a rating of 9.1 in a game where you've conceded 4 in Football Manager, that means he's doing absolutely incredibly. I cannot kind of criticise him at all. We'll make a change just to get some fresh legs in midfield. We've got a few tired players. Unfortunately for us, it's looking very highly likely at this point that our Champions League campaign is going to end in this second round, and so I'd like to rotate some players where possible. But it's actually only going to finish 4-0 in this first leg. So going into the second leg, you never know. We can maybe keep a little bit of pride. But I think it's fair to say that FC Copenhagen today were by far and away the better team. They are a very good team. I've butchered the team talk again. I didn't think we played that badly. Maybe I should have only addressed our goalkeeper when saying that. Unfortunately, 4-0 is that result. I'm going to skip forward, guys, to the next kind of stage of the game. I'm not going to do the bit in between. You guys don't want to hear me ramble rambling whilst very, very sad. So yeah, I'll join you guys in just a second for this second leg. So I kind of feel like after that first leg, we go into this second leg today away from home with not a lot on kind of the expectation front, I guess. It's disappointing to lose the first leg 4-0 because at home I kind of fancied us maybe to put up a little bit more resistance. At the same time, 4-0 is an improvement on the 10-0 we lost on aggregate last time out. Today, I want to see a better performance against FC Copenhagen. I'm hoping we can do that. Obviously, at this point, I think any expectations for us to go through should just be thrown out the window. It's still a learning experience here at the Apex. Really, this year, my expectation was to get to this stage, which I'm pleased we've done. Obviously, we're going to get some nice money for that to build upon. But realistically, this was my expectation for the year. I think this is going to be the expectation for the next few years, if I'm honest, is for us to reach the kind of second round as regularly as we can, raise some money, and until we go professional, simply put, we cannot compete against the likes of FC Copenhagen. It's either going to be a case of us making a miracle performance in the second round, or coming up against a particularly weak team, which is something that I kind of feel like in our first two kind of seasons that you guys have seen here in Europe, it's just not been the case. We've not had the fortune of a kind draw. And unfortunately for us, we've been kind of put to the sword twice now in this second stage. But looking forward to this season, I'm going to use this game. Obviously, you guys can watch what pans out here, but I'm going to use it as an opportunity, I guess, to talk about my expectations. Really, this year, I want to dominate the league a lot more. I want us to be losing a lot less games. I've obviously not revamped the team too drastically. Instead, I've tried to just add a few players to help cover some perhaps weaknesses, areas where we don't have enough players in our squad. But all in all, we kind of go into this season with an expectation we're going to win the league. The board expectation is only to qualify for the Europa League, which is second or first. I'm hesitant to raise that to win the league, just because then it sets a precedent that we're always going to win the league. And certainly there was points last season where, well, I was a little bit concerned we weren't going to win the league. There were times, when we were in second. There were times when there were teams breathing down our necks. And towards the end of the year, we did see it out. We did start to perform well. I think we got some players back from injury and we thrived with some nice form and some good momentum on our backs towards the end of the year to what was ultimately a fairly comfortable title. I think this year, obviously, the league is an expectation, I think, at this point that we should win it every year. But really, I'd love to do a lot better in the domestic competitions. With the additional strength we've got in the squad, I'm hoping that's going to put me in a position where I can rotate the team for cup games and not have to play tired players, but at the same time really be able to kind of compete in those matches. We will have a chance here. We almost scored. Peachman with a chance on the back post, but cleared away. And we might have to defend here. Can we get the ball away? We can, kind of. So yeah, as I was saying, my expectation for this season, win the league and hopefully win the Rock Cup and or Gibraltar Senior Cup. Of course, we have also got the Pepe Reyes kind of Community Shield-esque Cup, which is the winners of the Rock Cup versus the winners of the Primera Division. That is the first game of the season, and that will be the first game that we live com of kind of our actual domestic season, which will be coming obviously for episode 21. I would like to take this moment, I guess, of episode 20 just to thank you guys who have been watching this series so far. I really do feel like this series has legs as a long-term save. I feel like we've got a few nice little regens coming through. There's a few fan favourites, I guess you could say. It's going to be an adventure, and I can't wait for the club to go professional, because then you will really see this save spring into life. Obviously, we will begin to absolutely dominate in Gibraltar, but I'm hoping we'll have a real focus on European competition. And, well, because of the fairly short seasons, it's quite easy to get through kind of games. Obviously, we are now at episode 20, and we're in the 4th season. It's, 5 or 6 episodes a year. And with the kind of shortness of the seasons, if we do score, we scored. Raise your hands. I've just celebrated that by actually lifting up my hands in a kind of half-arsed celebration there of, yes, we've scored. Unfortunately, isn't going to mean a lot in the kind of bigger picture. But it's only 2-1 here. I can't remember what I was saying now. I'm trying to remember. It was some. I'm trying to think. What was it? Oh, it was to do with the fact that when we go professional, and just thanking you guys for watching the series. So yeah, I would like to thank you guys who have been watching this series. I'm sorry that, again, in Europe today, we've fallen short of perhaps the dream expectations. In reality, this is what I knew was going to happen. But yeah, I want to say thank you very much for watching so far. Obviously, this save isn't going anywhere. It's going to be the main save for the year alongside the Hexagon Challenge. Obviously, with this save, it's a little bit easier to record frequent videos compared to the Hexagon, where obviously time passes a lot more kind of slowly. I think in the Hexagon Challenge, at the moment at least, for me, I'm on about episode 15, and it's like the 5th season. So it's like 3 episodes a year at the moment. Obviously, I'm hoping that'll become a little bit more frequent because there's been periods of unemployment. I do also appreciate there's people who perhaps don't watch the Hexagon. You watch this series only, and I'd actually encourage you to try watching the Hexagon, as we do actually score again. It's now 2-2. Now I'm annoyed that we lost the first leg 4-0, because here we've actually shown we can compete with Copenhagen. Guerrero flicks it back post, Ballester. Well, let's go and win the game on the night, boys. Let's go. We've had 4 shots and we scored 2 goals. Can we get the 4-2? That's the dream. I'm going to switch to counter, I think. That's something that we did before. And it worked for us, didn't it, last game? So let's go on to that. Obviously, changing it a little bit. Oliveira, Felix, a little bit of a quieter game for him in goal. He's not had quite so many shots his way. Not had quite so many wonder saves to make. And he makes one there from the set piece. And it is eventually cleared away. Now can we counter? Go on. Okay, we can't counter. Can I be honest in saying 2-2 would still be an absolutely insane result? I think most people would agree that to draw against, well, FC Copenhagen, that'd be insane. The Danish champions, you know, they are one of the, I don't want to say they're one of the bigger teams in Europe, but they're certainly a little bit bigger than Gibraltar United, and we've scored again. We've scored again, it's 3-2. Is the dream alive? Probably not, but we might win this game somehow. Sargent out wide to Glenn Gilbert, who whips it in. And it's Peachman there. Bang! On the volley. Pick that out. The number 27 gets his, I don't know what number goal that is of the year. That might be his 3rd in the Champions League. Either way, it's 3-2 on the night. We're going to win a game in Europe against a big team. Maybe. Maybe I'm talking too soon here. If we concede now, I'm going to be really, really sad. Can we clear it? We can. We are going to have to deal with a second ball here, though, and it's out wide with Ambrose. Now it's gone to Dembele. Don't let him have the ball. Fisher shoots, hits the woodwork, and they've missed an open goal. In fact, it was cleared away. That was a really important clearance. We are about to completely FM FC Copenhagen, and if this had been the first leg, at this point, I'd be really, really excited and jumping up and down thinking we're going to go through. Unfortunately, however, that is not the case. We lost the first leg 4-0. That's cost us, but we did just get a fairly historic win against FC Copenhagen. How can the players be unhappy against that? That was a pleasing performance. We just beat the Danish champions 3-2. I'm not buying the players' reactions there. 3-2, I can certainly think of worse results. And we do, of course, get a little bit of a payout as well for that. We're going to be given, well, about 400k, which is kind of nice. And that puts our bank balance at 832,000. Wow. Can we ask to go professional? We can. I'm not going to make the mistake I made last episode, though. Or not last episode, last season, of asking for professional status having lost in Europe, because that cost us before. So I'm going to wait and maybe do that during the league season just a little bit, because we won't actually go professional until the end of the season anyway. Not that I expect to go professional this year. I think we need to get a little bit more money in our bank balance first. One other thing I just want to say really quickly, and I didn't talk about this before, and people have probably written it in the comments in previous episodes, and I've had to explain it in the comments. I actually got a senior affiliate in this team from Turkey, whose name I'm not going to try and say. I don't know why I got it. I asked for a senior affiliate to get players in on loan, and this was the team I was given, and they don't have any players who actually want to join me on loan, so it's not a particularly useful relationship, unfortunately. Maybe we should try loaning a player and see if he'll come. We can't afford to pay £2,500. We're too poor. What kind of affiliation is this? Whose idea was this? Why did I agree to this? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Guys, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Pretty good result, I guess, in the end with this live com. To win 3-2 against Copenhagen, that is nothing to be ashamed of. And that does give me hope going into the next season. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode, episode 21. As always, thank you for your support in the series. Episode 20 is a nice little landmark to hit. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.